evening, I'm Travis from Mel's Mullet.
And I'm Jude Law.
And you're watching the 30th episode of Examining Expanse! So we have these three emotional confrontations between Naomi and Marco, Naomi and Sin, and Naomi and Philip. And it's kind of the culmination of where this dramatic character arc has been heading.
It's interesting because it kind of comes out of left field, right? Like from the moment that she's reintroduced to these people, right? From her past that we're introduced to, essentially.
Yeah.
Right, and that's fine. It's over a couple of episodes.
Yeah.
But it kind of comes out of nowhere, but it doesn't feel like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, in the book, it's very much all of a sudden Marco's a thing now, and you're like, what?
And all these people.
The show did put little breadcrumbs.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter, right? It's like the way that the drama unfolds, specifically in this episode as well. All the context is filled in. You know, where they're basically giving exposition about what was happening and what things were like and all that sort of stuff. It doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel ham-fisted. It feels really natural. It's excellent drama in this episode. Yeah,
well, at the end, she bails, so she's not going back there. So yeah, we get all the big emotional confrontations. Like her and Philip, they've danced around it, but now we get the why did you leave me? And her and Marco get that heated emotional thing, and then her and Sin, Brett Sexton, I believe his name, the guy who plays Sin, he did a really good job where he basically confesses that he hid Philip.
He helped, he was complicit.
And he breaks down, and Dominic Tipper does an amazing performance.
I held Marco, hide him from you.
He was my son.
I'm so sorry.
I thought you loved me.
I loved all of us. We were family. I thought I was doing the right thing. I thought one day you would come back to Marco.
And it's revealed also that Naomi did look for Philip.
Yeah, I think that was kind of sort of.
In the book, it's because you're in her head, and it's basically just she's in this horrible abusive relationship. In this episode, they go into her attempted suicide, but all the abuse and the manipulation and the Stockholm situation.
He's a manipulative person. That's the point.
Yeah, he's a toxic human being. Yeah.
Well, he basically cajoled her into killing a bunch of people, I guess. Like a terrorist act or whatever, right? So.
Yeah, absolutely. But in the book, I don't know if it's revealed later on because I just listened to the book in chunks as the episodes come out, so I haven't read the whole book. But yeah, she bails. She's like, this is fucking toxic, this is hectic, I need to get out. So I don't know whether in the book she actually looked for Philip, because that changes things. That's
Yeah, well, so in the beginning episodes when she goes to find Philip, it's like, you're a bad mother. I don't have a whole lot of sympathy for you. You're a bad mother, that's it.
Well, she bailed on her son. The situation was hectic.
But that's all the context, right? All the context gives context to it.
Yeah, if she was looking for him and Marco and Sin wouldn't allow her to find Philip, and that changed.
Yeah, that totally changed. Of course it does. Yeah. She was never given this line about we hope that you would come back because we're withholding your son to ransom. That's not really. That doesn't really play.
We have a gun against your head. No other fucking options. So it was good that all those big emotional beats happened, and it really wrapped it all up. And last episode I was getting irritated with Marco. He seemed to be way too passive, and he seemed to be allowing Naomi to try. And Philip accidentally drops the drum that they have Naomi and stuff, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? But in this episode it's okay,
he's manipulative, Marco.
Yeah, he does what he does, and he makes Sin and Philip do exactly what he wants them to do, which is his plan. And it's they've been indoctrinated into this fucking doctrine. Philip's you see the manipulation in that scene where Marco dresses Philip down. It's Naomi's not going to change his mind.
He breaks him down and then he builds him up. That's a common manipulative thing. Well, and again, to give context to the whole Marco thing, right? The entire movement, right? The goals and the end goals and stuff. He's not wrong.
You can see what he's talking about.
Right, in the context of the larger solar system.
The units have had their boot on the neck of the fucking Belters for generations.
How how hard is it really to convince a bunch of people that have been, you know, oppressed for like generations?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's like the Hitler thing. It's like his doctrine tapped into like the idea of Germany. He didn't just come out and say, hey, the Jews are horrible, we should attack the Allies. It's like that ideology existed.
Well, their
within
economy
Germany.
was shit, and
and
everybody,
there was like anti-Semitism
after
within
the First
nation.
World War. Everybody like screwed them and all that sort of stuff. But
So yeah, the belt is very much like, they have that ideology. The Marco is just the charismatic leader to come in and rally them all together.
Yeah, and so when he uses the sort of common dictator tactic of like depersoning the opposing side, right? So
It's not about the people.
Yeah, the inners are evil and the inners are this, and they're not like us, you know, they're not like belters and all this sort of stuff, and therefore we can kill millions of them and nobody's going to bat an eyelid, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's all interesting. It's all context and like political commentary and all that
I
sort
like
of stuff.
how, like, she wasn't able to break them either. Like, it makes sense for Philip to be like, oh, my mother, I haven't
of course it does,
gets to know her, but in the end, like, he's so deep at this point. Like, he's grown up with this fucking psychopath for a father, brainwashing him, and like, he's like, you know, those child youths that go into war that are got that mentality, and Sin betrays her at the end too, and fucking Philip smacks her down.
Bye.
It's like, you well, what a bitch! And you're like, oh, that's so fucking...
That's so great.
This is the emotional climax of all of it.
And then Sin's dead, I guess.
Yeah, so that was a great payoff and setup too, because they set up the whole suicide in the airlock thing. And he's like, you know, I know that look on your face, don't commit suicide.
Yeah,
She's like,
shouldn't have come here.
that's not what I'm doing.
yeah, I'm fucking good.
So yeah, the science of what Naomi does is like reasonably accurate.
Yeah, well, it depends whatever's in the thing, right?
So I watched this little like after the Expanse podcast thing, and one of the writers of the book, and then Wes Chatham, who plays Amos, they're like the host. And yeah, so basically what you need to do is when the oxygen is void, you need to exhale all the air from your lungs, because that'll expand and pop your lungs, and then you have 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Because when you hold your breath, you're not going without oxygen, your body's feeding off the oxygen in your lungs.
Yeah.
So you got like 15 seconds of oxygen in your blood before you pass out in the void. So what her thing does is oxygenate her blood.
Yeah, interesting.
But then what happens on top of that is there's no atmosphere, so you get a massive radiation fucking pump.
Yeah,
from
massive
the sun.
radiation.
Sunburn.
The cold, people think that you like immediately freeze. You don't immediately freeze, it's not that cold.
It'll affect the oxygen in your blood eventually, but you would have passed out. And
Yeah. By the time you freeze, you're dead.
Yeah, like you pass out after like 15 seconds. Once your body doesn't have oxygen, your brain's like, okay.
It's interesting, it's actually interesting. Event Horizon is the first instance I saw. I knew about the exhale thing from fucking Event Horizon.
True.
You remember?
No, I don't remember that.
They're like the young kid that's on the thing. I guess it's not a kid, the young adult that's on the thing. He like has to make a jump through space or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like exhale, you know, curl yourself into a ball and exhale all the air out of your lungs. It's fucking great.
Yeah, otherwise it'll expand and pop.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just go.
Yeah, no, it's not a nice way to die. Let's just
No. Yeah, so I haven't read this far into the book, but apparently the reason she jumps through space in the book is because she doesn't want to take a spacesuit to alarm them that she's gone.
Yeah.
But in the show, like, Philip's watching her, so presumably he'll raise the alarm immediately. And now she's all fucked up, and she's on the Chad Smoker. Like, what is she going to do?
Well, I think the point is that him and Sid knew he was more concerned with what he thought was coming.
Yeah.
Where she was going to eject herself out the airlock, which she did, but like she was going to kill herself.
Different motives.
Right. It's that concern overrides. Oh, I've got to, push the fucking alarm and all this sort of stuff, right?
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know what's going to happen, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean,
she's going to do a thing.
She's going to be alive.
Yeah, she doesn't die.
No.
Like, she's wrecked.
Yeah.
And there should be consequences for that.
I mean,
you can't jump out into the void and then not be physical
I thought
consequences.
she was gonna like explode herself. That's what
when I first watched it, I thought it was a little detonator.
Yeah, a little detonator. And that actually would have been amazing if she like latched onto the ship and did and fucking boom.
Blew that shit up.
Yeah, that would have been fucking. Or even in the airlock, actually,
Yeah. Or kill Marco.
That would
sitting there. They're all just dead.
That would have been the best ending.
The last 3 episodes are just Holden crying.
She fucking detonates in the airlock and it blows out, just decompresses the whole shit.
Murders everybody. Sacrifices herself.
That would have been.
Yeah, she gets to the point. She's like, okay, I can't change his mind. He's gone. He's on Marco's side.
Boo, but you know that's fine.
Yeah. How do you feel about Bull replacing Alex on the Roci?
Is that what do you think that that's what they're gonna do?
I think that's what they're gonna do. That was
he
the
should
theory that Belinda. Like there's one episode where he's like, I'm the pilot, and then in this episode. He's
a good character and a good actor. I like him. Yeah. He's got that sort of. He's got that banter thing.
There's
with
a moment
Holden.
in this episode too where Monica's like, "So what are we gonna do with the protomolecule?" And Holden's like, "Destroy it," and then Bull's like, "Destroy it." And like, oh, okay, like they're on the same page.
Yeah, they're on the yeah. No, I like the little dynamic that they've got going.
He's like the grumpy old fucking bitter 40-year-old man who's worked a shitty fucking job in the belt.
Oh, it's good. Yeah, I think they'll work out really well. I'd like to see the reporter. God, what's her name?
Monica.
I'd like to see her maybe stick around as well. I like that. I really like that character.
Yeah, I warmed her a lot. Season 3, she's just the slimy like.
But that's the cliche, right? And then they develop the character.
Yeah, it's like the Jamie Lannister thing. You set it up, and then as you go deper into his character, there's depth.
Well, she's like a person. She's like a human being. You know?
She's not a 2D caricature.
Though it's interesting because she's sitting there talking to Holden about what actually happened with the protomolecule, and all I could think is, Holden, you're talking to a camera.
Yeah,
that's what you're talking to.
That's true.
True. Right now you're talking. You're not talking to Monica. You're talking to a goddamn camera. I don't know.
Camera. Well, I think they're trying to do a thing where like she's not that character anymore, but I mean maybe she still is.
I love the camera. I think
off the record. Record.
Well, it's happened twice, right? It's come up twice with the first guy or whatever. You know, there's like a saying, right? Always assume that the mic is hot.
Yeah.
But like in this universe, it's just all the time, always. You know.
Everything is hot.
You just need to like gouge
everything is a mic.
Plug people's eyes out to make sure that you're not being recorded. Yeah.
She brings up the idea too that the reason Marco has all these ships from the Martian Navy is that he was going to give the protomolecule to Mars. So maybe that's why that's how he's gotten all these ships. And there was this scientist too from season 2 who got snatched.
Yeah.
So presumably Marco snatched him and the protomolecule, and he was going to give them to Mars, and that's why Mars has given him all this shit.
It was the thing when she started talking about that. What I thought was maybe they want to. It's like an excuse to bring Mars back to wartime. Right, so that way they can rebuild everything and rebuild.
Yeah, we need a fleet. We need the economy
it's a sort of
back.
patriotism bait and switch, right? We need to go
Mars
to war
needs
again.
You. Come back.
You know,
the belt of fucking psychopaths throwing rocks at Earth and attacking Parliament and shit.
You know, so war's gonna break out or something.
That
whatever,
makes sense.
or they're gonna take over Earth, or they're gonna do something like that. Rather than just profiteering, but it could just be profiteering. That's fine, right?
Yeah, maybe. Or maybe some behind the scenes of Mars has a similar like political agenda. That's another thing she says. Mars wants the belt to attack Earth for some
it's
reasons.
Various. It's an open-ended question, so we'll see what happens, I guess.
Yeah,
right?
we will get confirmation as to how this has happened.
The plot will be revealed.
Presumably, yeah.
We found out that Mars is selling warships to Marco and Eros. We got profiles, drive signatures, and course projections, which we sent to Avasarala. Look, Marco's got a bunch of gunships that might be headed to that same ship that y'all are tracking, so look sharp.
It was got a fucking great space battle. The Expanse does space battles better than any other sci-fi show, eh?
You know, it's really interesting. I never really thought about it with The Expanse. We actually had like a jump scare in this episode. Or for me, it was a jump scare.
What moment?
Well, when Sin's coming off on the thing.
That was really loud.
Yeah, and also what occurred to me was that this series being sci-fi, like hard sci-fi, actually does what you shouldn't do in hard sci-fi, which is portray noise in space.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But like it's like Battlestar Galactica or whatever.
Well, it's like all sci-fi. They've done a thing where they've taken all the sound effects out of Star Wars, and you watch it, you're like, oh, this is so non-compelling.
Well, so it's interesting. I actually prefer that they have the noise of everything in there, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's not scientifically correct, but it takes a lot away from the show.
I think Battlestar Galactica was novel in doing that, like a big sci-fi series, novel in portraying basically how it should be, right? There's no... They did the muffled sounds, because sound does exist, it just doesn't have anything to travel with.
It doesn't reverberate through the fucking molecules.
Particles and stuff. Yeah. So, but I think the series would be lesser without it, and you kind of don't notice. Your brain kind of assumes that there's going to be noise, right?
Yeah.
Your brain wants there to be noise while they're doing stuff. Yeah.
All these movers and pulse defense cannons.
It's like that.
Shit out.
The thing about the noiselessness is that it adds a certain level of tension.
Yeah,
kind of,
absolutely.
right? Because you're not getting feedback, kind of, sort of, right? It's like there's all this dangerous stuff happening, like really super dangerous stuff, but it's not reacting the way that you normally would assume, but...
So it's like an off feeling.
It's like off tensiony feeling. Well, that's kind of like Battlestar Galactica.
I never watched... Oh, I watched like the first episode of Battlestar.
They stuffed the ending and they killed it.
Yeah.
So, anyway, this is not Battlestar Galactica. I think it's good, right? It just occurred to me, they have noises in space, and it works. And so, we had this really drama-filled episode, and the drama was amazing, right?
And we get all these payoffs.
But then you've got a giant, like, battle scene in it, and it's fucking, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it's funny, because normally the show, like, around episode 5, it'll start ramping up. But this season was kind of different arc. The first 3 episodes were all character moments, and episode 4 was like, there goes! And episode 5 was a little less intense. Episode 6, am I kind of dipping down again? And then I guess the last 3 episodes, something's gonna happen.
It's gonna start.
But all those character payoffs were good when you come to the conclusion that is, you're well, a bitch. Fuck you.
This isn't you. You're not like him.
You have no idea who I am, but I know who you are now. A pathetic, utter-loving walla. You tried to make me weak, tried to poison me against my real family. You are everything I am not.
It's the acting was superb, right?
Yeah. They've come a long way. Like Dominic Tripper, like in season 1, she was nowhere near this caliber of actor. She's done fucking 7 years and 5 seasons,
and she's a really great actress.
Yeah, and she's like balls deep in the character and the motivations in this world. There was a little nitpick too I had about space and the physics and all that amazing awesomeness, which is somewhat there, somewhat scientifically accurate.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Yeah, Bobby's wearing I guess like a Kevlar suit underneath her armor, and she gets a bullet and then just throws it. They're gonna go into high G maneuvers.
I didn't think about that.
That's just gonna
just shreds. It would shred everybody in the thing.
You're going like 16G, and then you go shoes as they've done.
It just fucking. You just see like the perspective of Alex and Bobby, and they're like doing stuff, and they're doing high G maneuvers, and like as
the Jews,
and as the ship turns around, you just see like they're upside down. You just see the bullet go like through her head, and her just like.
Blood cooling in there and floating up in big globes.
Actually, it's interesting. I had another thought along those same about the physics, right? I guess it's not a thing, right? But they're sitting there drinking the brandy or whatever. I thought they're in 0G, right? So wouldn't all the liquid like go to the top of the stomach?
Yeah.
Or like it would float around?
Yeah, it's like, there's different like levels of gravity. It's like when they're just cruising, there's no gravity.
Right, but then
the thrust
IG
creates gravity. So it's like, it depends on how fast they were moving. Because I had that thought too. It looked like the bottle was designed so like alcohol didn't just float out.
Yeah.
But it's like, are they like, how fast are they going?
Well, he's taking care to not...
Yeah.
He's like...
Yeah, but you wouldn't want brandy like
but
floating up your esophagus.
But so how does it get down the esophagus? Because they've got the boots on, right? Well, there's no downward gravity, right?
The whole biology changes. Even like in the books, like if you grow up in 0G, like the shape of our eyes
Yeah.
is determined by gravity. So like there are belters whose eyes are all fucked up and deformed and haven't grown. So yeah, you couldn't eat in 0G properly. Although I guess they do.
Well,
on the
no, they do
space
it. That's
station.
what I was thinking, right? I had that question. I was saying, but they're in 0G.
I guess, I don't know, it goes down your esophagus and then your esophagus has like a sphincter to stop it from
Yeah,
escaping.
it does. It does have a sphincter, yeah. But it's actually, well, the esophagus also is like a muscle, right? So it sort of pushes stuff down.
And presumably if like you were getting reflux, your body would try to...
But, you know, wouldn't humanity be really different if, like, there was some biological thing that just stopped us from going into space? right,
Yeah.
well, there was just something.
Well, there was an astronaut on Rogan and he was saying like if the Earth was, I think it was only like 9% bigger, like the physics of escaping the atmosphere
it would be impossible.
with combustion engines, it just wouldn't be a thing. So it's just like complete luck that we're able to survive there and that we're even able to get out.
And survive in space.
Yeah. It's all grand design, Steve. We were made by a supreme being. How can this be coincidence, Steve? I thought too, because often a criticism railed at the show is that the Belter's physique isn't like that in the book, which is fine. You can't get 7 foot tall or
But
emaciated.
they showed that in the beginning of the series.
They did, yeah. And then it's like, you know, there are tall, skinny people out there, but how many tall, skinny people that are brilliant actors are there out there? But I thought, Philip's physique, when he had his shirt off in this episode, because he's a tall motherfucker and he was really skinny. I'm like, oh, that's a belter. Sin's morbidly obese, but this guy's a belter.
What are you reading?
Just reports out of Palace about a victory, rallying the workers there.
Well, it's again. I think it's fine to like establish in the beginning seasons. Hey, these people exist.
Yeah.
These sort of mutated belters.
And then later on, this guy's a really good actor.
Yeah.
But he's not 7 feet tall.
Yeah, so
and he's not unhealthily thin. Then maybe you could still cast him. Sorry, you have to be 7 feet tall. You have to be emaciated.
I'm not. I'm
the
not.
acting quality might be diminished slightly. Marco wouldn't be as good.
He's a big, like, tall, skinny. Like,
Naomi, I don't like you.
I think it's like that. Actually, I never think about it really. Like I know that those people exist.
Yeah,
and so
I set it up.
And so I'm happy that there are people like that out there, and that there are other people who are not like that.
It's a television show.
But that's satisfactory, right? I'm happy with that. That's enough suspension of disbelief that it doesn't occur to me, right?
They have sound effects in space. They're not all fucking like horribly unfit physically. But give them a free pass. It's a good show.
It is a good show, though. It is a good show. It would be kind of weird if they tried. There's some things that you just can't do. It just seems silly, right? To just try and really. Yeah, if you want hard science,
listen to a podcast.
Go to university.
Yeah.
Become a physicist.
Watch a lecture on astrophysics.
It's
if
like
the Expanse isn't good enough for you, then watch a fucking lecture on astrophysics. That's your fucking entertainment.
Yeah. I just, I get it. I understand.
Yeah.
It's like people like Neil deGrasse Tyson say, oh well, I watch Gravity, the movie. And, there's parts in it that are just, it's silly, basically. And it's like, okay.
It's a movie.
I get that. It's a movie, right? I get it, right? I want that all that's important to me is that there be logical consistency within the universe.
I remember that Ben Shapiro guy. He did a video where he broke down, like, Thanos' doctrine. And you get like 10 minutes into it, it's like, okay, you know nothing about movies.
Yeah. It's like,
Like there's a way to make a good, compelling narrative, and then there's a way to not make a good, compelling narrative, and that's what you're talking about, Ben.
I get
A movie's a movie.
I get it, right? No, the criticism is not invalid, right? Well, what it is, right? It's an interesting thing, right? About essentially what is fantasy, right? So this show is fantasy to some degree.
Yeah.
What's important? It's important if you're to try and maintain as much science as possible. That's fine, right? Again, as I said, the most important thing is logical consistency with the universe.
Yeah, don't do the Game of Thrones stuff where like the rules change.
Yeah, the rules can't change, right?
You set up the rules exist.
You can have parallels to real life, you can have political parallels, you can have political commentary, and that's all fine to a certain degree, right? It just all has to be consistent.
Yeah. Don't set up how gravity functions in space in season 1 and then change it by season 3.
Right, it's like
There are rules.
it's like Stargate. Is that Nicotel?
That's one of the best examples.
That's the
ever.
best example.
So yeah,
right?
1 shot stuns, 2 shots kills, 3
Three
shots
shots disintegrates.
the body, and then they just drop it.
Well, because
It was too easy.
think about how many questions get right. How many problems does that create in the Stargate universe?
Yeah. Well, you can just go onto a ship and disintegrate everybody.
But does it?
And it's too easy. You gotta leave the bodies there and kind of make a bit of tension.
It just there's like a million problems with it.
Yeah.
Right,
It worked for that episode, but then later on, retcon.
I think they acknowledge it, don't they?
Yeah, there's an episode, like one of the 200 special one, the one where they're filming the movie with the guy, and they address it there.
It's like,
Which is funny.
Yeah, so that's fine. And, again, you can drop certain things that aren't working in the beginning.
Well, Stargate is just thinking on their feet and going, this is fucking books and then the show, so...
Well, Stargate at some point becomes logically consistent.
Oh, the whole thing overall is very, consistent within
yeah.
the whole, mythology and the
As they're figuring it out in the beginning, it's not. But yeah, the books thing obviously helps with the Expanse.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting question, and then that question also falls into fantasy, if somebody says, this political thing that's in this show or game or whatever is unrealistic, right? And it's they don't want that political commentary in there or that, whatever sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's an interesting balance between, the show has parallels to real life.
Yeah.
Right? But can also be consistent within itself, right? So, it becomes glaringly obvious when some external real life thing is in a show.
Yeah.
Right? That isn't consistent with everything else that's set up. Or consistent with the parallels that have been set up from real life. It's very complicated,
It's funny because everyone does look at the Expanse high concept sci-fi, but the authors have come out several times and said this is a Wikipedia level type of fucking
surface
thing.
level.
Yeah, we're writing it and we Wikipedia shit and we put it in gravity exists.
Yeah.
That's basically what happens. In space, gravity exists how it exists. That's all we've done.
Yeah.
Wikipedia level research. And
What happens when
people
this
come in and
happens?
go, well, if the asteroid was 14 megatons and it impacted on Seattle with exactly this speed, then... Shut up! Shut up! It's a show! It's not real! There's a guy with fucking robot implants and there's a gate to a fucking world of fucking 1,500 other planets.
No, it's fine. Again, again, it's
nerds.
There's weird criticisms. The criticisms go at varying degrees, and that's fine if you want to entertain, hard science criticisms. But all the things that make your criticisms valid are the goals of the show. If the show portrayed itself to be a hard science show, right, then you would be valid.
It kind of, people think that of it, but the authors have always been
nobody's saying that.
Wikipedia.
Right? It was on the site. But it was on the side.
Sci-fi pumped out some garbage.
That's
Bigfoot
right.
hunters and shit.
Oh well,
Sci-fi has no
History Channel does that. They still do ancient aliens.
Swamp people. That's what History Channel is now. This is old news too, but I don't know if you know about it. But basically the authors and production have come out and said book 5 is season 5, book 6 is season 6. And they're taking a pause point, but this isn't the end of the show. They're not wrapping it all up at season 6. They're just going to tell book 6 and there's going to be a hiatus. And then at some point in time, they're going to come back and tell the rest of the story.
Based on what though, right? So from what I understood, the cancellation of the show, right, was, okay, we're going to give you 2 seasons to wrap the show up from the Amazon overlords, right?
Well, Alcon Entertainment, who are the production company, have said, we're done with Amazon, but we will continue the story at some point.
So they're leaving Amazon until they get picked up by someone else or
Maybe.
whatever.
They've already done that with sci-fi, the first 3 seasons of sci-fi. Yeah. And there is a 30-year gap there. So and they also said this was part of their game plan and idea. They're not scrambling to finish up here. We initiated that this could be a possibility. So we're going to end season 6 for book 6, there's going to be a gap, and then like it might be 3 movies for the last 3 books.
That's fucking Stargate did that.
Yeah,
Continuum, bloody the other 2 movies, Stargate Continuum, Arc of Truth.
Yeah, there you go.
Was there a third one?
I think there was going to be a third one, but then even they.
Oh well, I guess the last episode, right? They had the last
Yeah.
episode, which was kind of like a little mini movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
So yeah, season 6 is book 6. They're going to take a break, and then at some point, rather than rushing it all and like wrapping up the protomolecule narrative, because nothing's even happened with the protomolecule
No, well,
this season.
We
It's
are
just Marco.
We are on an arc.
Yeah.
We're on an arc, right? We're on the Marco arc, and that's fine. That's wrapping up all the intersolar
inner
conflicts,
planets,
right?
outer planets war.
That's fine. No, I already said that even if what you said wasn't the case, I was happy that we've been given a conclusion to stick to, rather than trying to decide, how many seasons are we gonna do it? How many this are we gonna do it?
We have to wrap it all up now.
Yeah, we've got 1
episodes,
season. That those are the things that kill shows.
Yeah. Do season 6, that's book 6, and take a break.
Have a plan, stick to the plan.
Even if it's like 5-6 years, and then we get 3 movies for the last 3 books.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'll fucking wait. I want quality. I don't want Game of Thrones. I don't want a fucking a shit the bed fucking rushing emotion.
That was those directors, right? That was.
Well, yeah, I think they were fatigued.
Actually,
they wanted to get out.
I think Guru Martin. Okay, this is Game of Thrones. Yeah, I think Guru Martin actually has a part to blame in the whole debacle. He didn't finish the book. How long did he? Well, so I actually saw an interesting analysis speculating that it was possible that he didn't want to do the book until after the series was done, so that way it wasn't competing with the book.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, it's been a decade since the last book. It's been 10 years. That's a long time.
It is long, and it's fine that he.
I mean, the books, their quality. It's like Tool. Tool take like a decade to write an album, and you can hear that when you read Martin. Yeah, every sentence.
And
everything.
that's fine that he does that, but as far as the show is concerned, right? He. I don't even know how it got greenlit. Did it get greenlit with the idea that those books would be finished? Because if that's the case, then that makes it even worse, right?
I think, they were assuming. Well, like, The Expanse started before the books were all out, and Harry Potter started before the books were all out, and they worked out. But Game of Thrones...
Well, that's because the books never came out.
The books never came out.
How long did Game of Thrones go for? 8 years?
I think...
1 season a year?
Yeah, I think it had 8 seasons. Or 7 seasons?
8 seasons,
yeah. And then, the books just never came out. And then...
He never wrote anything. He never provided any, I guess...
Well, he did give them an outline, apparently.
But the outline doesn't...
It's like on a cocktail napkin.
What we learnt from the directors, right, is that they suck.
Wise.
Right, except
they're really good at adapting books.
Material, yeah.
They're not really good at writing original material.
Right, that's what we got. Right, they're excellent at adapting the material, apparently.
And when that show was at its peak, it was one of the best shows of all time.
Yeah, and it could have been heralded as
even if the end was just like okay, it'd be like, oh, it's still really good.
Yeah.
But instead, it was like...
Well, it died over like 2 or 3 seasons.
Yeah. The last 3 seasons have dipped, and then Jesus.
Yeah. I remember saying this to you ages ago. Nobody talks about Game of Thrones. Oh, nobody talks about it
from us.
in the it's no longer the cultural phenomenon, right? The average person doesn't really think about Game of Thrones anymore.
Yeah.
Nobody on the internet is like, we're gonna have a Game of Thrones watch party, whatever, right?
What the fuck?
Nobody's saying, I need to binge watch Game of Thrones for the 37th time.
Well, but it's funny how the ending affects the beginning. Like, you can't really go back and watch it all.
Because
there's
ruined,
no
right?
satisfying ending.
No.
And even The Expanse is kind of serialized. Season 4 was on Ilos, and it was like this, and season 5 is Marco. It wasn't serialized at all. It was one continuing narrative, and it's just you got the beginning, you got the middle, and the end is terribly unsatisfying.
It's like a big movie, right? So the point,
the
point with complicated dramas essentially is that it's not like Stargate, right, where you've got the SG-1 saga, but even the SG-1 saga is broken up into the Baal saga, right, which is season 5, 6, 7, then the Anubis saga and all that sort of stuff, right?
Yeah, seasons 9 and 10 are completely different.
It's a linear path, right?
Yeah.
What's happening in this season affects the next season. The next season is entirely reliant on what happened in the previous season. There are no like enclosed stories.
Yeah.
You know, the Game of Thrones might as well have been a movie.
Yeah, like an 80-hour movie.
The way that its story played out.
And then the third act is just falls apart.
Yeah.
What do you think about what's going on with Dune and fucking HBO Max and all this?
I mean,
politics.
all I know is what other people have speculated, right? Because all you can do is speculate on the impact that being on HBO is going to have, right? That's all you can do. So, I mean, I've always maintained that streaming's the future.
Oh, absolutely.
Obviously, it's the future.
I would much rather like sit down and watch Dune in my living room than
Well, us three would get together or whatever.
set up Tasper's projector. We can drink beers. We can talk. We can pause and go to the bathroom. We don't have fucking Kevin behind us going.
Well, bloody, I watched a video from Red Letter Media
It's
talking
like a
about.
dramatic moment where Paul's about to put his hand in his long shower.
Oh yeah, man, the footage.
She's a bitch.
The fucking footy was really good. Yeah, man, they kicked that ball.
Do you want to fight?
Yeah, I watched a little Red Letter Media. They put out like a little clarification clip the other day about their watching of Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Right, and about the idea that they're actually not really big fans of going to the cinema because of the experience gets ruined constantly by the thing, right?
I remember when I was like in high school, I'd go to the movies once a week, and I'd watch bad movies, I'd watch good movies. It was like a ritual, but it was $10.
Yeah.
Like, here's $10, I get to watch a movie. Now it's like $25 in Australia.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll pay that for a good movie, but all the movies are garbage. It's $25 now.
You pay it to be in a comfortable seat in air conditioning with like surround sound and a giant
Massive screen and a good movie.
These days you can do most of that yourself.
That's very true. Yeah,
Right,
home entertainment.
That projector that Jasper's got is great. And it cost him bugger all.
Yeah,
right. So
even like my TV and my speakers, I turn off the lights.
we got a big screen too. Everybody
has a fucking home cinema system.
You know, and
like fucking like the Queen's Gambit and Game of Thrones and the Expanse. Like that's what's on television, and then what's coming out of the movies.
nothing. You know,
Not Dune.
No, not Dune. Well, it is coming out in the movies,
That's true,
right?
that's true.
But well, yeah, I don't even know if it'll be worth watching at the movies. I mean, maybe there probably won't be anyone there. That's right. There'll be no one. There'll be us
Yeah, me, you, and Jasper.
and one other
It's
guy.
like when we go watch The Hateful Eight, it'll just me, you, and Jasper in an empty cinema.
That was really good to watch in the
That was
movie.
really good. Watching that chick be hung up by her neck. Holy shit!
That has to be a cinema experience. Yes, I don't know. I mean, and
I'd go to watch it at the movies.
yeah, I know. But Denise saying, "Oh well, you know, I make my movies to be watched at the cinema." You know what? I watched bloody Sakara again for the other day.
Yeah,
Have you seen Sakara?
Yeah.
Which
yeah.
is
Josh Brolin and all that. Villeneuve. Villeneuve is so good.
It's like I can't describe how good
Yeah.
it is, but. We just our TV setup. All the dialogue's really quiet, right? All the mix is totally out.
Yeah.
Right? It's because he's mixed it specifically
For cinema. Yeah.
Right? And so I'd have to, you know, the sound system we got isn't compatible with like the Foxtel box or whatever, so we can't plug it in. It's just too much work.
Yeah.
Right? So we're watching this, and you have to kind of like modulate
Turn it up and then turn it down when the action comes.
and it's like. You know, that I get it. Artistic integrity.
It's a dying medium, and I get it as well. It's romantic. Like, I listen to vinyl, like the cinemas, you know, it was a nice thing.
Yeah.
But it's the past.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. But it's the
I
past.
don't know that these days that the cinema experience is better than home experience.
Well, yeah, if you spend like a couple $1,000s, you can get like a good experience at home.
You know, so it's not, and so again, right, having it on HBO, I don't, you know, the issue with the streaming thing is how are they going to judge the metrics of it?
Yeah, well, yeah, if Lionsgate and like all the other movie production companies put all this money in to get the box office revenue back, the thing is, it's not going to be a part 2.
No.
Because then, like, HBO Max will give them a couple $1 million. It'll get streamed. It'll get lots of views, but that doesn't equivalent to like ticket prices.
No, yeah, but
and then there's no part 2.
But they have
That's
to,
the thing.
They have to be. I guess they must look at how many people subscribe or at any given time when something comes out. The article that I was reading was talking about, well, okay, you've got the movie, right?
Yeah.
And then they're also releasing the series, the Bene Gesserit, right? Is that the value for them might be in the continuation of media that people want to consume, right? So with movies, you have to really justify, like, oh, well, we're going to make more of these because people are going to come and spend $25 every single time. Yeah. But with this, it's like, how many subscribers subscribe to watch specifically this content at this time period, and how many of them stay subscribed?
Because of it, yeah. Well, I remember Netflix in the early days, like, pretty much they weren't making a profit because all the money they were getting from their subscriptions, they were just pouring into making stuff. And, like, that paid off for them. Like, how many millions of people are subscribed to Netflix and giving them, like, fucking $30 a month?
Apparently this year they've got a movie a week or a month or something that they're releasing.
Yeah.
Like their own movies.
Yeah, well, yeah. That's the future. And if people are subscribed and money is just constantly flowing in, then give Villeneuve another $200 million to make part 2.
You know, it's
then
like...
give him another $200 million to make Doom and Star, then give him another $200 to make Children, and
I want to see Emperor of Doom.
They could do that right.
My Duncan.
If, like, that was done with Villeneuve, high budget, it'd be the greatest thing ever made. But it won't happen.
Well, it's like, I guess... You know, it's like Disney, you know, they've got The Mandalorian now, and that's got people on Disney+.
Yeah, that's swarmed people.
And if you can just have a stream of media that attracts a certain amount of people for that specific thing, again, with Dune, it would be HBO has their own sci-fi series, and it's Dune.
Yeah.
Right?
We're in a war now, like Disney has Star Wars, Amazon has the Expanse. Like, if HBO had Dune and Dune became a franchise, which they could, like...
If it was like a Game of Thrones-esque, which all indications seem like it. That's the sort of thing it is, right? It's the interpersonal political drama and machination. Like, the Bene Gesserit is all of that. That's what they are. They're a political organisation, right?
So maybe it would be worth... Well, fucking it'd be worth giving them the money to make more.
Yeah, well, I agree. Well, so how much did Dune cost, is the question.
I'm dinging up here a lot.
Yeah, like 300 million or 200 million or something.
Yeah, maybe more.
Well,
I don't know. A lot.
The thing about it as well is that when you're to market movies, you also have to, like, spend a lot to market movies.
But if it's streaming,
well, if it's
you don't need to pull people into the cinemas. They've already got it at home.
If people are on HBO, they can just broadcast their own ads. If people are on TV, it's just HBO.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Because they'll save a lot of money with that.
You would save a lot of money, you know. So I don't expect. Yeah, I mean, we've already talked about. I don't expect that cinema is going to be a thing. I don't really have an inclination. There are movies that we've seen at the cinema that it's like Mad Max Fury Road. My God, what an amazing movie and what an amazing cinema
and that's
experience.
made by the big screen, the way it's set up.
It'll
be like, it won't be like a family day at the movies every month. It'll be like, you know, a rarity. It'll be a novelty.
Well, the Marvel movies will end up on Disney Plus.
Or it'll be like, you know, going to see a concert. And, you know, it's a big deal. Going to see whatever the end of phase fucking 12,000.
And you know, they have the thing where you buy a movie and you, like, share it among people. If Dune comes out...
Oh, like pay-per-view, like sport kind of
deal. If it's
deal.
Like $30 or $40...
Split it between you and
we'd split it.
Watch it on his projector.
And watch it on his projector, right? And, you know, have a good time.
Yeah.
And that would be totally worth it. I would totally put money in for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if they're like, we're going to use this money to make part 2. I'll pay you for something that's that good.
That was always on the periphery, right? It's always, they've been tossing up between that. I think they are still migrating to it, right? Because we haven't seen it full-fledged.
Yeah, well, the whole COVID thing, it was happening, but then the whole COVID thing kind of made them rush into it. Some studios like, hey, we'll just chuck all the movies on HBO Max. Other studios like, we'll just not release the movie for a year. We're waiting for James Bond for like a year. We're waiting for Dune for almost a year.
I think the industry is going to look like you've got the few major players, right, that have their streaming services. And they basically, what they're looking for is a stream of IP. Right?
Yeah,
and IP
they need their own content.
Yeah, that can be.
Because they get more. They get all the money from that.
That's right. So, Disney has Star Wars and Marvel and all that sort of stuff. and everything. Disney has everything.
That new WandaVision show comes out today.
Is it a show or a movie?
It's a show.
Oh, I
It's
thought it
10
was a
episodes,
movie, yeah.
It looks interesting. It looks different.
Yeah.
I mean, those Marvel movies, they're generic and they're all the same, but they're a level of quality.
They're
good.
I've already talked about Marvel just need to keep being weird.
Push the boundaries.
Yeah, keep pushing the boundary. Well, Deadpool 3's coming out. It's going to be R, right? But now it's under the Disney umbrella.
Yeah.
So we may see some other characters pop up.
Yeah, well, if you're doing one arm movie, then you can do.
People have talked about bloody Spider-Man, the kid that plays Spider-Man coming into the Deadpool movie, because they've always had a rapport in the comic books or whatever.
That'd be cool. I could see those actors working.
That would,
actually.
yeah.
Tom Holland and Ryan Reynolds.
And Ryan Reynolds, right? But so they've got all their stuff, and that's like a stream of media that they can continue building upon to keep people subscribed to their thing. HBO, if it would be like if they had The Sopranos, right? And they these days, and they were releasing and was coming out, right? How many years would somebody be subscribed to HBO?
7 years.
7 years.
Well, yeah,
or something.
it's like Game of Thrones is done now. Westworld isn't very big. Like they need the big sci-fi linchpin, and also Amazon has. Oh no, I think Apple TV.
Yeah,
has
Apple's
the
doing
Foundation
which
series.
is going to be really
Isaac
interesting.
Asimov.
Yeah, who's doing Lord of the Rings?
Amazon doing Lord of the Rings.
They've got The Boys.
Yeah.
It's all TV shows now, with maybe the occasional movie.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So
we'll just release the movie.
because honestly, the only difference these days between TV shows and movies, as in terms of quality,
it's just length.
well, and also the cost of the actors, right?
Yeah, that's true. But
But-
even some of the big name actors, like Netflix just released a movie with George Clooney as the main actor.
Well, they've got bloody Henry Cavill as
The
what's
Witcher,
it?
yeah.
Which is another great.
Yeah.
Which thing's that on?
That's on Netflix.
Netflix, right?
Yeah.
Which that is.
Yeah, The Witcher was good.
Which is
Not what I
really
expected.
good.
Just
It's-
like hard fucking fantasy.
but
immediately.
like B-schlock with like AAA actors.
Yeah,
and,
it's like silly and dumb and high fantasy.
but it's really good.
Yeah.
So that's the future, and I'm fine with that future. I would love to see. It's like the Ben and Gesserit. I would love to see a bunch of in context series
with
of the Dune universe.
With that like Villeneuve aesthetic.
Yeah, with a bunch of different like
Sign me
directors
up.
jumping on and writers and screenwriters and. I would go and buy HBO Max if that's what they said they were going to do.
Do the main books as movies and then have like 5 or 6 spin-off series, and you could, because that world is like Lord of the Rings. It's in depth and fleshed out.
When they've got people on their streaming service, that exposes those people to other things. Because I know HBO has a bunch of good stuff on their documentaries and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I know they have it on there. I'm just not exposed to it because I just don't buy it.
Yeah.
Right, so I'm not going to go out. I don't really have the time to go out my way to search up what's on HBO. What are they releasing? So
that they should invest in Dune. Is basically what we're saying.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, I suppose.
It's a good time to be a fan of media.
But Denis seems like a kind of like an old codger, kind of.
Yeah.
Like, back in my day,
him and Christopher Nolan and Tarantino, and I think Spielberg too is like era cinemas.
But like,
they're old.
Kevin comes up to me.
Excuse me, may I buy a ticket to watch a movie? $35. No, could I just buy a ticket?
Just
to
one
see
ticket,
a movie?
just a ticket, just
$35.
$40
For a movie? It's 2 hours? Yeah, $35.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that
for one movie.
And then you want to buy drinks and you want to buy this and you I want a Coke. I want a Coke, right?
Yeah, that's fair enough.
I want a Coke while I'm sitting there watching my movie.
I was fucking smoke a joint and drink a beer in the cinema.
Yeah,
I mean, but I can at home.
That's true. Yeah.
Sit on my couch and smoke a fucking fat cigar if I want. Blow the smoke all through my fucking house.
You can eat chips.
Yeah, obnoxiously loud. In my own ear. Do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah.
Think fucking in my underwear.
Yeah.
Pause it and make a coffee.
Yeah, well that's what Red Letter Media sort of said that.
This is an exciting moment. I'll pause it.
Yeah, go and do whatever, or if something's going on. Yeah, so Red Letter Mia said that, right? Is that the benefit of watching something at home is that you can be fully dedicated to it, pause it, get up and do something, come back.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So,
Fair enough.
yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So basically, in conclusion, this episode was a C- because it had no Amos and Peaches. Horribly disappointed.
That's so great from the previous episode. My God.
Yeah, they're my favorite narrative.
Yeah,
by far.
I love her. I love him, and I love their. I ship Amos and Peaches.
They're so cute. None of them C-.
Yeah, where are they?
Alright, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe.